Lesson 70, 71, and 72 from Learn Violin Fast, Book 2. In this lesson, we'll reach where we're going to learn everything that we need to learn about a low 2 placement. So far, we played only the fingers on the mark. So 1 is a whole step from open string, 2 is a whole step from the, and 3 is a half step, and then pinky is a whole step. Now we're going to learn low 2s or naturals or flats and what exactly they are. So we're going to review in book 1, part 7, that we use 7 different chord names, right? A, B, C, D, E, F, G, or Do, Re, Mi, Fa, Sol, La, Ti, Do. And we have 12 subdivisions between low A and high A. We will fill in the missing subdivisions with sharps and flats by making the string shorter or longer. The map below represents all the possibilities of where you can place your fingers on the violin. And although there are other ways to spell certain names, we're going to focus on and use the ones you encounter in music more often. So we're going to play through that map. So this is open G. Low 1, where you place your 1 away from you. Below the tape is an A flat or a G sharp, depending what you play. 1 on the regular tape is A. You'll notice my open A and E are vibrating. So I know it's in tune. Then we're going to have a B flat. Now you could play it as a B flat. You could write it as an A sharp. If it's written as an A sharp, it actually should be a high 1. Though you're not going to see that for quite some time until book 3. So low 2 is a B flat. Then a tape to a high 2 is a B natural. Then we have a C. Now here you could do a high 3, which would be a C sharp. Or this is the third tape C. If you have a D flat, you would play a low 4. Then we'll have open D. Now this can be written either as an E flat or a D sharp. E. So D string, regular tape 1 is E. Next will be F natural, or low 2. F sharp is on the tape, high 2. G is 3. Again, this could be a high 3, or it could be a low 4. Open A, B flat, B natural, C natural, C sharp, D natural, normal D, D sharp with a high 3, or E flat, open E. Now F natural, if you play a piece that has no sharps, your 1 is going to have to be low. You're going to pull it back. F natural, normal F, F sharp. So you'll see most often in music, F sharp and violin, G natural, G sharp is a high 2, 3 is A, and then again we could use a high 3, or this is regular 3, or a low 4. So those are all the possibilities that you could play in first position. You basically just move your fingers up and down, and you have your tapes as kind of like what most likely you will do most often, but then you could play low fingers, high fingers, depending on the type of music you play. So the new left finger placement that you'll see most often is a low 2, and we've had this in previous lesson where I had a little preview. So you can think of right now what you've been playing on tapes as a peace sign, peace. A low 2 will be a squeeze. Now very important, your needs to be unaffected in regular first position on the first tape, a whole step. You're going to make 2 a half step. And one of the most common mistakes is that when we play low fingers, we don't stretch whatever comes after and it becomes flat. So keep in mind, anytime you have low fingers, whatever comes after, you must stretch. So low 2s are between the first and second tape. It's a whole step and a half from open string, or it's a half step from your first tape. So one way you can practice is make a piece, make a squeeze. So this is how it looks like on a violin. So here's a high 2. Let's see if you can get a good view here. High 2. I'm going to keep my 1 in place. I'm going to squeeze my low 2. Right? And then if we turn from the back, here is high 2, or let's do G string, and here's low 2. You notice how my 1 is staying in place, and the 2 goes from a whole step to a half step. Okay, so that is what a low 2 is. You can practice making peace and squeeze. So one thing you can practice is, I would practice first, fingers on the mark. So let's play A string. Next, we're going to use a low 2. We're going to squeeze the 2, but I want you to look at your left fingers. Make sure you stretch your 3 to the tape. So now it's a low 2. And if you recall, at the end of book 1, we talked about majors and relative minors. So on the tapes will be A major, with the low 2 will be minor. And just so that you know, when you switch between A major and A minor, starting with the same note, that is called parallel keys, all right? So they're relative if you use the same key signature, but you start with lower 3 half steps. But if you start from the same beginning note, like A major and A minor, it's called parallel keys, right? Because they're parallel to each other, and they will have different key signatures. So you can practice that on all the strings. You can practice G string on tapes. And then you can practice a low 2. So on the G string, low 2 was a B flat. D string is those notes were D, E, F sharp, G. Now with the low 2, it's an F natural. A string is A, B, C sharp, D. With a low 2, it'll be a C natural. And E string will be E, F sharp, G sharp, A. Those are your tapes. And a low 2 will be a G natural. So those notes were E, F sharp, G natural, and A. So the most common low 2 that you're going to see in violin and music is when you're playing the key of G major. And when we get to 2-octave G major scale, you'll see why. But for now, know that if you look at the left-hand map, you'll notice that your second finger has to switch. On G and D strings, when you play music in G major, your fingers are on a tape, so you have a high 2. But when you go to the A and E string, because we do not have a C sharp or a G sharp, it's a low 2. And I've highlighted in the book on the diagram the low 2 and high 2. When you have to switch your music between D and A strings, the fact that your 2 has to switch from low and high, that is the most common mistake that students make, is they forget to switch back and forth. And if you recall from previous lessons, changes is where we make mistakes. So when you have to switch your finger from one to other position, often and quickly, that is where you're most likely to make a mistake. So that is low 2. In the next lessons, we're going to have exercises with low 2s. So you will have to be on your toes because there will be some tricky spots we have to switch. But we're going to practice with low 2s and high 2s in future lessons, and then be able to play more challenging music because now we have more finger placements on the violin. Thank you for watching. If you find this helpful, please subscribe, please like and comment. It really makes a big difference. And I'll see you in the next lesson.